You are so welcome. And so Bealtaine, 1st of May, you can kind of feel it in the air. So we're just going to have a nice, really, really relaxing festival. And yeah, go through why Bealtaine is the time of all the year to really rest. To be held by the seasons. So first of all, let's do our candle ritual. So I'm hoping you've 1 or 2 candles. So what we do is, if you have to, put one on either side of you, because traditionally that's how the fire ceremonies were done. That there was a fire and then another fire on the other side, and both people and particularly cattle would walk through for the protective energy on both sides. So if you have your candle there, let's light it. So I like, when I'm lighting the candle, first of all, to be aware of the effect of it. When you light a candle, it opens up the back brain, the more primitive mind, and it immediately relaxes the nervous system. So candles are amazing, as long as they're not, smelly candles. You want a natural candle. And when you light it with intentionality. The intentionality of the consciousness of, here we are, fire starter, starting this beautiful flame on this Bealtaine night, this, beautiful time of the year, halfway between the March equinox and the solstice, this beginning of our period of deep, deep rest. Light one of your fires and put it to one side of you. And just take a moment to let the consciousness take in fire. And the first part is we're just going to do a gentle protection ritual with the candle on either side. So the other candle on the other side, put that on the other side. So obviously health and safety, keep it all safe. But now I'm hoping ideally you have one on either side of you. And just take them in with your consciousness and just feel any embodied sensations that happen, what happens in the body. You might feel something like the body kind of relaxing, or be open to something else. Also, fear can kick in. So if that does happen, just notice, just be aware of it. And then we ask that the protective elements of the fire protect us for this ceremony. And we acknowledge and mark the beginning of our Bealtaine ritual. So we have our candles on both sides. And then so we talk a little bit about Bealtaine. I'm not going to go into the history or anything of Bealtaine, but Bealtaine is a festival both of fire and of bloom. So it's a fire of things starting to bloom, starting to flourish. So in a way, it's a little bit of a paradox, because Bealtaine is the beginning of the time for deep rest, but it's also the time of blooming, the time that everything is like flowering. But the reason for that is because Bealtaine is the time when the planting was over. You've done all your planting, no more planting to be done. So the period before now was all about planting, and it's not yet harvest time. So this time in the middle of planting and harvest is the time when you can beautifully rest, be held by nature, feel nature presenting itself so beautifully. Your work has been done and presented, and starting to present and bloom, but you just have to be held by that. And that, unfortunately, for our society, is the hardest thing, particularly for women, just to let ourselves be held by anything really, but just be held by nature and be held by just that idea that, we can rest. We don't need to give ourselves permission to rest, because we have it very, very much built into us that we need to give ourselves permission to rest. So this gathering is about having an embodied mind shift, whereby we come back to that embodied knowing that Bealtaine held, which is that work is done, that the planting is done, the harvesting is not yet. And so this is a time for deep rest. This is a time to be held by nature. Obviously, we live in a very different time. We still have to go to work and all that. But when the earth is having that intentionality of rest, it is the best time for us to reclaim the rest that we so badly need, and to have an embodied mind shift around, maybe, I don't need permission to rest, because that's a huge one. That we will see rest, the need for it, we will see the really comfy couch, and we will not allow ourselves that because we feel we need a justification to rest, some permission, some justification, or that if we do take that rest, that we need that we feel guilty, or that there's something wrong with us, or there a constant striving, whereas this is the time to let the striving end. Um, so a little bit of a paradox in the blooming and the resting, but it's just the being held by nature. So why seasonality? So the whole cycle of the Celtic wheel has different aspects to it. There's 6 seasons to it. So I'll go into them a little more at the end, but just to touch on it now, that each one has a different aspect of well-being to it, and the aspect of well-being of Bealtaine is rest, and then plants. So in traditional Irish, our Celtic rituals, we would have used the hawthorn, we would have used rosemary, and what else were we using? And vetiver is very much associated with this time. With my, so I have 6 oils, and with my range, the one is relax, because it's a relaxing time. So if you have relax, use it, and if you don't, whatever you have, oh, I must sit here. Whatever you have, we'll use that. So whatever oil you have, we'll use, because I want to do our face massage. So you may have done a face massage with me before there. One of my very favorite things, and it's a thing I would often do at the beginning of a yoga class, or at the end of a yoga class, or just any time when, if you're going to bed at night and you're putting relax on your face, just to take a couple more minutes, or if you feel there's any kind of buildup, because this time of year can often be associated with buildup in sinuses. So face massage is amazing for that. If you get yourself nice and relaxed, shoulders dropped, and sitting in a comfortable position. If you don't have any oil, it's okay. You can still do it. You'll have enough natural of your own oils both on your face and on your fingers to do it. If you have makeup on, if that's an issue, then the ideal would be that you wouldn't really mind. Um, but if you have long fingernails, that might be more of an issue. So if that is the case, then where we bring the fingertips to the face in any way, you don't want to do that. But you just use your knuckles. Your knuckles are nearly as good, okay? And most of all, I'd love you to act intuitively, because that's really what we're doing. What we're doing is aligning the time of the year, which is Bealtaine, which is when the season is inviting us to this beautiful time of rest. So we're aligning the time of the year with sacred plants, who are also inviting us into our bodies and to deep rest. And we're combining that with our own consciousness. So our own consciousness that is very open to that. So take some oil if you have it, and if you don't have any oil, you can just use your own natural. Oil wise, if you want to use something 100% natural, you can even use something you have in the kitchen, as long as it's 100% natural. We don't recommend toasted sesame. So if you want to put yourself on mute there, do. I think somebody's not on mute. So if you want to do that just to have quiet for everybody, might be easier. So let the shoulders be dropped, and let them stay dropped for the whole process, the whole practice. And if you've done this one before, that's great. So then you can go deeper. And again, please follow your own intuition. So your consciousness and intuition is the third part of that. And listen to your intuition around what it tells you, where to be gentle, where to spend more time. So just brush out from the center of the forehead to the sides of the forehead, and feel yourself dissipating the energy that is accumulated here. You may also be dissipating energy that has accumulated over multiple lifetimes, so there may be some work to do. But just gently enjoy that simple, gentle practice, and just feeling into, again, anything that the body is is communicating to you. If anything comes up for you and you want to pause, do, but just be conscious if anything comes up for you. And then next, just bring your fingers to the temples. Now, you've probably done this one instinctively before, but use it both as a healing tool and as a diagnostic. What's going on in there? How is the pulse feeling? And then bring thumbs to the little holes in here. You'll feel those little holes in your skull. Brush them out to the side or pinch. And again, feel how much tension is stored here. So be slow, be gentle, and try to feel or be open to feeling how much tension there's stored here. Also be open to feeling when the shoulders start to rise and drop them down again. When the lower back or when the upper back starts to work, and just try to straighten up and let the weight be really dropped in the body so that the upper body isn't working. From here, we're going to do sinuses. And here, if you have, I'm a bit sinusy, I had a cold. So just feel where it's tender. And if you do have any sinus things, let's do this. This is what I always do when I have sinuses. Brush down to the sides, but always, so I do a few, quite strong, but then also slow to really feel into. And you don't need to know, these are, big pressure points. You don't need to know what they are. It doesn't matter. If you know what they are, great, but you really don't need to. Your body knows, and that's all it needs to know. So if you feel one, press, and again, intuitively, don't hurt yourself. But it can be a press can be a nice relief. And in Ayurveda we do 3 anti-clockwise and 3 clockwise. If that feels like it aligns with you, do it. Otherwise, just press whatever feels right for you. And again, just kind of note what's where there's discomfort or anything. Sometimes you'll get a flash of memory or a picture or a color or something. And then the Cupid's bow here, press, and again, just let the shoulders drop. This one is really strong. You just have tiny little shifts in the brain plates, which opens up, and then the bottom. And then we do lips and cheeks. I'm going a little bit faster than I normally would because I just want to get you nice and relaxed. And then jaw. So the jaw, be gentle. There's a lot stored in the jaw. So please be gentle with it. Again, be very intuitive. Again, be open to anything popping up, any words, stories, anger, emotions of any kind. So we just really use it as a diagnostic. What is the body holding, as well as a healing? And then let's bring 2 thumbs to the center and out to the side. Again, this is a great diagnostic because you can feel if there's any swelling, which is the T lymphocytes, which are just gathering just to tell you there's some infection being fought in the body. And then you can do the ears as well. Again, as you know, there's lots of pressure points here. And then we'll just go up the face, over the top. And it's quite nice to let the fingers come through and then catch the back of the neck and throw the hands down. And we do 2 more of those. So up and throw the hands down. Okay. So then just feel the effect of massaging the face, of letting the shoulders drop, and the effects of the oil. So you probably don't have the oil, but I want to talk a little bit about the oil and the effects of the oil. So why this oil for this time? So as I was saying, yarrow is an oil that was used very much in Bealtaine time, and yarrow is full of a chemical called camosyline, which means it's a very blue chamomile, a very blue uh, kind of molecular structure. It's blue in color when it's processed. Same with blue chamomile. they're very, very, very relaxing. And so in this blend, we have blue chamomile, we have frankincense, we have cedar wood, all of these sacred trees that just relax us and bring us into a deeper state of consciousness. They can to be used for self-massage, for however, really however you use it, to get you into a really embodied state. So I would like also when you're just in this nicely relaxed state, just to check in with the body and just feel how the body feels. Does the face feel more relaxed than the shoulders? Can the shoulders get the consciousness of the face, the consciousness of that relaxed state, that simple letting go that the face has done? Can the shoulders, that consciousness? And just let, because relaxation ideally comes from top to bottom. That's why face massage is great to do, because we can quite easily draw the relaxed energy from the face down the body and just feel it coming down the body through the shoulders, through the chest, through the trunk of the body, and all the way down, pelvic bowl, legs, and the feet. And then I would like to do a practice with our flame. So you can keep your eyes closed because you're probably quite aware of the flame. There's no real need to open the eyes and look directly at the flame. There is another practice called trataka, which is flame staring, which is a different practice. But this one, we're doing a practice with the flame, but the eyes do not have to be open. So you can just keep the eyes gently closed. If you want, you can bring the head to face one of the candles if you have to, and that way the flame is more apparent to the face, and you can feel it more behind the eyes. If you like, you can do that. So the practice we're going to do is a Bealtaine practice of allowing the fire to ignite and connect, allow us to connect with the fire within. But just bring your consciousness to the fire, to the flame. And then gently connect with the fire inside. So first, just feel, where is the fire? Can you feel any fire? Is there any fire inside? Now, I often use imaginal reality, because the imaginal reality and reality are, it's the same neural pathways, and it's how, if there's something that you can't imagine feeling, if you imagine feeling it, that's often how you feel it. So if you can't feel any fire inside, just imagine if you could feel fire inside. Where would it feel? Where could you imagine it being? And if the fire also feel, is there an emotional aspect to it? How does it feel? Does it feel, would you put an emotion of any kind with the fire? And then if the fire feels quite high in the body, in the chest, in the head, in the anywhere that's sort of upper half, I would invite you to invite the fire deeper into the body. Slowly, gently, being prepared to, stop, and if this at any point feels uncomfortable. But if it feels okay, invite the fire. If it's in your head, just be open to inviting it down into the body. and feel how, or imagine feeling how, as you bring it down the body, it changes. And invite the fire into the belly. And again, just feel how it changes when it comes into the belly. And just feel how the belly feels. The belly is the traditional house of the fire in the Ayurvedic tradition, the digestive fire. Again, often this is quite compromised. So feel the fire without, the fire in the candle, connecting with the fire within, even if it's just a very damp, almost non-existent fire in the belly. Feel the fire in the belly, any little thing that it is, if it's small, drawing the energy, connecting with the energy from the fire in the candle. And feel if the fire in the belly gets any more, bit more life. And be open to drawing it down again into the pelvic bowl. And again, just use your imaginal reality here. And if you can, perceive the fire in your pelvic bowl. Now, often we are totally disassociated from our pelvic bowls, so really we can't perceive anything in the pelvic bowl. But just be open to imagining you can perceive your fire in the pelvic bowl and really connect with anything. And anything you can connect with, connected with the fire without, with the candle. And just feel the sharing and communication and consciousness between the fire without the candle and the fire within. If you have any oils on you, be open to plants being part of facilitating, supporting the communication between the fire within and the fire without. And then I'd like you just to be conscious of these actions, this practice, what you're doing, this beautiful connecting the fire within with fire without. And what we're doing here is tending to your inner fire. Feel that and honor that on this Bealtaine ritual. We are honoring your inner fire. We are tending to your inner fire. And if it feels okay to make a gentle commitment on this Bealtaine evening, to commit to tending to your inner fire, feeling the importance of tending to your inner fire, feeling your fire as the sacred fire that it is, a spark of all the fires, and its connection with the original fire. So here we have the candle, but you can, in your ancestral memory, we have the central fire in the Celtic tradition was on the hill of Ishnach, and just so there was a fire in the center of the kind of the belly button of the country, and from that fire all the other counties would light their fire and they would see, but all obviously connected. So feeling your fire as connected to the original fire, the central fire. However you perceive that to be, you may perceive it as quite a connection with your maternal line, with your own ancestral line. However you perceive it to be, your inner fire connected to the original fire, the source fire. Feel if it's available to feel it kind of growing and getting more powerful and a bit more steady and safe and grounded. And then if it feels like it's got some presence there, feel how your fire, starting as a satellite fire, a side fire, is also a central fire for your family, for your community, for the people around you, for the women that you touch and the men that you touch and the kids and all the people. So feel how your fire is also a central fire. So feel now how important it is to tend that fire. All your little sparks that are around you that would benefit hugely from your fire shining brightly, being strong, feeling safe. And do be open because often we have fear around fire. So if there is fear coming up around fire, honor it. I'll talk a little bit about that after, but just for now, just honor it and hold it in your compassion. Feeling your beautiful fire within. We're going to do a little practice to balance the elements. So, from the fire, let's bring our consciousness to the earth element. So, the earth element, let that feel however it feels to you. It's the more structural, the more earthy, the more grounded aspect. Again, if you have any oils on you, feel into the earth element in the oils. Or just let your consciousness come to the earth and feeling the earth element within. And feeling the earth element in balance with the fire, how the fire needs the earth. And then from the earth, let's come to the water. So the water, feel into your own fluids, and just feel the water and the fire balancing. And then again to the fire, and then from the fire up to the air, gently, keeping the earth strong. So feeling the air gently, because you know the effect of air on fire. So feel the air gently. And let the air support the fire. Make it stronger, but safely. They're the four elements of the Celtic tradition. So feel or just be open to feeling the four elements in balance in the body. Just feel them doing their dance and coming into balance in the body. And if you have felt the elements sort of all over the body, just feel them gently settling in the pelvic bowl. If that feels available to you. And again, coming back to an acknowledgement and an honoring of the fire without, and a deep honoring of the fire within, and a micro commitment to tending the fire within this Bealtaine season. As you feel into tending the fire within, just feel what that might mean for you. as you know how to tend a fire. So it's just care and consciousness, giving it what it needs. So what would tending your fire look like, feel like? And be open to whatever comes to mind. Be open to strong emotions that might come up because the fire is strong and quite discerning, quite sharp. So you may get a very strong, not on any of that, and just be aware of that and honor it. And then let's bring our hands at the heart center, holding that commitment and that consciousness of what has come to you as to what tending your inner fire means. And we ask for continued guidance to support you to tend your inner fire, to let it shine brightly, safely, securely, and light up the world for those around you. Now I'm going to finish with the breath of infinite compassion. So we're going to inhale the arms up and open, and exhale all the way around. And we're going to do 2 more of those. And 1 more of those. In your own time with your own breath. And I'll stop myself. So let my doorbell, which I will ignore, leave your eyes open or closed as you like. What is deep breath? So this is if I want to make a note, talk about fear, and we'll come back to that. So what is deep breath? So I mentioned in one of my emails that yeah, I'm quite excited. I have a new offering. So what I've done is, some of you are aware of my oils, some of you might not be aware of my oils. But what I've done is embedded each of the oils in a 35-day plant guided experiential ritual with micro practices of breath work and embodiment and seasonal nudges. So it's all around the seasonal nudges, which are the what the earth is nudging you towards, not pushing you towards, but inviting you to at different times of the year. And it's all about gentle guidance back to your rhythm. So why now? Um, so this time of year, why this time of year? So I said that why Bealtaine is particularly this time between planting and harvesting. This is the time for that. And it's all about coming back to our inner seasonality. It's, in a way, it's particularly relevant if you're in perimenopause, but really it's for everybody and it's for all genders. But it's about finding the rhythm that is within and reconnecting with it because it's natural and it makes well-being so much easier. So it's coming back to our inner seasonality, that it's really about coming back to own ourselves as the elements of nature that we are. It just makes well-being a lot easier. So 2 ways to work with me. So some of you know me through my coaching, which I do still have going on. But these are 2 sort of this sort of easier step in, because I know my coaching, both my group coaching and my one-on-one coachings, it's often out of reach of people financially. So these are easier step ins. So 2 ways. So the first one is deep rest, which is a single journey. So it's a plant consciousness journey. Now, usually when you talk about plant consciousness journeys, people mean ayahuasca, the psychotropics. This is not psychotropics, obviously. This is essential oils, because all plants communicate, all trees communicate. The psychotropics communicate very audibly, very loudly, very strongly. And that's fine, but it's not really appropriate for, this is not that. This is just essential oils, because it just makes it easier. You don't have to puke in a bucket, and you can drive afterwards. So not that I'm anything against the psychotropics, but this is good for it's easier. So single journey, 35 days of sensory restoration, guided, gentle, powerful. So that's deep rest. I'm going to show it to my website, which I just launched 1 hour ago, and you were the first to see it. Um, and then seasonal being is my larger offering, which is all six journeys in alignment with the Celtic wheels. I'm going to show you that it's easier to see it in diagram. I might have a diagram here. Oh yeah, you can see it here. So Bealtaine is time to relax, Blue Camel. I'm not going to go through all the words here. So it's time to relax. And yeah, I'm not going to go through it. The pictures are so lovely. Deep breath. So you can see the seasonal wheel there, right? And you can see how Bealtaine, deep breath, and the oil that goes with that. Then, so that's this season we're in. I'm a deep Bealtaine now, but just to briefly look ahead to the future seasons. The next season is Lunasa. And then that's the Celtic Festival of Abundance, which absolutely makes sense after you've rested a lot and you've done your planting, you've done your resting. Only then really can you be talking about abundance. And nothing better than jasmine and clary sage for that. So that is my most wholesome, most sensual blend. So that's the oil for abundance. Then we have nourish because that's when we're turning inward. That's the autumnal equinox. That's when it's starting to get cold. We want our ginger, we want our foresty smells to move inward. Then we have quietude, which is Samhain, which is the dark end of the year. It's the one that really draws us in. The one with the frankincense and myrrh, which is like that was not intended. But it's always when you work with deep consciousness and plant consciousness, you're like, oh, everything falls into place. There's no surprises, which is beautiful. It's just it all just kind of works or just is aligned without you knowing it because you don't need to know it. Your body knows it, and it just works. And then next year we have, so this is the key learning here is you do not detox in Feb. You wait till Symbolic, which is the first signs of spring, 1st of Feb. And then we've got our beautiful detox, which is just so beautiful. And then here comes the sun. We have manifest for spring equinox. This is the solar one, full of solar energy to the extent that, and like I love this, you got to be careful putting it on in the sun because of all the oils, like relax is fine in the summer because it's full of frankincense, which is protects you against the sun. Um, but this one is full of solar energy because the sun is just coming up and it attracts the sun because it's full of grapefruit, and citruses attract the sun because of course they do. The citruses, they love the sun. So this is it. This is my new offering that you guys are the absolute first to see. Um, so that's it. I think it is really beautiful. And so whole year rerooted, join us. So I have special Bealtaine offer for seasonal being. So closing ritual. So I'll do the closing ritual. Well, okay, I'm just going to read this, but I want to show you the website and I want to come back to the closing ritual. I'll do that. So I think that is the last. Hope to see that is our last. So I'll stop sharing. Yay. And then beautiful. Okay, now if anybody has any questions, you can ask them now. And I want to talk about fear, so I might do that first. Um, Often when we connect with the fire within, fear is present. That's very, very. It happens quite often. So just to be conscious of it, I won't go into the why, but just to be conscious of it, and I guess just go slowly, go gently. Um, yeah, go slowly, go gently, take your time, journal if that helps, and hold it with compassion. It'll often be something that's processing, and you may kick off that processing, so that will continue to happen. But just be gentle, and if it's a big thing for you, do write to me because I can support you with that. Now I want to show you my new website, and I can think of to do this to put it in here. And is that the best way? I suppose to share the screen might be better. So if I click in here, mm, now how do I see it? If you click on that, thank you, like really Good night. Good night, Els. Um, if you click on that, I might not even go through it. Um, but if you click on yogandha.com, you should see the new website, which has the new offerings, which are around deep rest and seasonal being, those two new offerings. So please do check those out. And they are so deep rest is a micro, so it's just one journey for Bealtaine, and seasonal being is the whole year. So you can see those on the website. But I'm also going to give a special for people who are here, who are not who are here, but who are sort of the first to sign up because it's making you. So that's it. Yeah, I'm really excited about these. I've worked very hard on them, and it's just a perfect alignment, and it's a way that I can support people in a way that's a little bit lighter than the coaching, which is more hands-on, and so it's more expensive for people. This is a lighter way, and it's beautiful because the oils do a lot of the heavy lifting anyway. So now, does anybody have any questions around the Altana, around those two deep rest or seasonal being? I haven't told you too much about them, but you can read online, but I think you get the idea that there's six plant ritual journeys for the year. Any of them you can buy individually. Each of them is aligned with a product, and it carries the wisdom, because the oils, the thing about the oils is that they carry wisdom. It's very bespoke. It's different for different people, but also they have their intentionality. So Relax is full of the relaxing herbs that are very relaxing, and they'll be relaxing for everybody. They will act differently on everybody, which is one of the incredible things about the oils, that they have that symbiotic effect, that they will act differently on me than they will on you, but they have their general intentionality of carrying of being relaxing. And the different oils have the different ones. Like Manifest is so full of the solar energy, and Detox is obviously so detoxing. So each one of those is aligned, so each one has a ritual and aligned. So we're combining plant consciousness with your own intention, with the earth nudge, with what the earth is inviting you to anyway. And so they can be individually. You can just jump on one if that's, meaningful for you. But if you feel like going for the whole year, it's quite nice, because then you get all six oils and you get the support for the rituals for the whole year. So it's quite a nice being. It's the easiest way to feel held by the trees, by nature for the whole year. So that is it. Now, if anybody has any questions or anything like that, shoot those in. But otherwise, I am going to do a little closing ceremony. No questions. Oh, anybody? Oh, I'd love to ask actually if anybody had um if anything came up while you were doing the elementals. Was any element very present? Was any element, I suppose, particularly the fire element? Well, maybe let's start with the fire element. Were you able to feel the fire element? Often, sometimes women can, sometimes women can't. Sometimes women experience it, but it's very high. It's in the chest or something quite high. And then often when it's high in the body, it's experienced in a fearful way. Let me know if you could feel the fire, or if you could feel any of that. Were they present? Was one very loud? Was one very quiet? Was one asking for a lot of attention? Let me know if anything. You're all very quiet, but that's all right. That's all right.
Hello.
Well, hello.
Well, when you said to us to imagine a fire, well, I have never seen bigger flames when I closed my eyes. It was,
Go,
they were crazy, like these
go
huge
on,
shooting up,
Jeanette.
yeah, from my stomach up to my head. And then when you said to us to move it lower into the body and into the pelvis, it was like, those little fires that you have out in the garden and you sit around. It went back that size fire, like.
Yeah,
But it was, yeah, it was very powerful, that bit.
brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, I love to hear that. And that's the O'Neill flame. or it could be, I don't know, I just, I mean, that's absolutely beautiful. I could, this ancestral wisdom is carried within us. I mean, we've been doing this for thousands of years,
Yeah.
so it's all in our cellular memory. Now, women have a particular relationship with fire, given that, there was all that burning at the stakes business, and so there's a lot of fear carried in our bodies around fire, and not just the burning at the stakes. I mean, that was a huge one, but also just the danger of things going on fire. Um, so there can be a lot of fear held in the body. So just be conscious if fear comes up for you. But I mean, if it's powerful, it's great, and you have the ability to pull it down into the pelvic bowl, where it really does become, yeah, like you say, like a fire pit. I always feel it like
Yeah.
that eternal flame type thing, where it can be safe and strong and just stay. And yeah, that's beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much to Antoinette. And did anything emotional come up with it?
Um, I'm in big flux at the minute.
Yeah,
So, and I
yeah,
know that, and I'm just sitting with it, you know, to see what's
yeah,
going to come. Um, yes, I know I'm a big flux, and also I've been pushing myself. So this was really, really good tonight to say, no, listen, this is your time to rest.
yeah, yeah. And
So
to
for me,
trust.
yeah, it was very powerful, and to trust, yes, that the universe will provide what I need.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. I mean, the fire, the strong fire, the fire is very much associated with discernment, with a sharp knowing of like, yes, no. So that's all, and also with transformation. So so it can be
Yes,
around that. So pulling it in, or inviting it into the pelvic bowl. And at night before you go to bed tonight, do that again if you can. Just,
I will.
tap back in with it, bring it down to the pelvic bowl with that trust of brilliant. The answers are coming, and then a lot can happen in the night as well.
And should you do that on a regular basis? Imagining
Yeah,
that tonight?
yeah. I mean, be conscious. Like if hot flashes are an issue, then it can be. Ooh, it can get pretty hot in there. It is. It's the same energy, So if you have a hot flash, that's a nice
Yes.
thing to do to pull it down. So you
Yeah.
can, you can pull it down or invite it down. Rather, it's not pulling things, more inviting it down.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. But also be conscious of the other elements. At this time, it's great to be with the fire, but also just be conscious of the other elements, because also if you're in a time of change, that can often there can be a lot of air present with change, that flux of like, oh, there's a lot of air, and particularly if there's any hormonal shifts going on, then that's a lot of air energy, a lot of flux, a lot
Yeah.
of air. So
But
just to keep the elements in balance.
when you said to invite the air in, it was like literally it rubbed my face. It was like I could actually feel it kind of blowing across my face, even though
Yeah.
I'm here in the bedroom, like. But it was, yeah, that was very powerful, very, very powerful.
It's great, yeah. Well, I'm so happy to that. I mean, I honestly believe that we are all basically, we have shamanic capacity. We all do. Some people go and do become shamans, but we
Hmm.
all have this shamanic capacity. So it's just about dropping into it, feeling it, and keeping your day job, but be using it for decisions and for all these things, and a more embodied being, and for starting the little fires around, for sharing it with whoever is open to it, a more embodied consciousness. Because generally, when we have make big decisions to make, we come up to our heads. It's no place to be making big important decisions. It has to be down here.
I know. Yeah, well, that's what I said. I said, no, I'm going to burn sage and just sit with it. I'm not expecting to get an answer, but I'll just sit with it.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And it'll come from within. It'll
Oh,
come from the
yeah.
beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing it, Annette. Thank you.
Well, thank you for doing this tonight. It was really, really, really beautiful.
Oh, pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Now it's hard to top that one. I don't know if anybody wants to come after that. That was pretty cool.
Sorry.
If anyone else has anything to share around the elements, what they felt, what they couldn't feel, or anything that was overwhelming, or any emotional aspects that came up, or anything, feel free to unmute and share.
I suppose I found at first, I found it quite difficult to feel the fire. But then when you mentioned about maybe feeling it higher in your body, I was like, oh yeah, I can definitely feel it more in my chest. And it was a really nice sensation then being guided to kind of draw it down.
Right.
I think I love the more guided spoken word, and you can focus in on it rather than trying to, do it yourself. So that was really
Yeah.
helpful for me. But I
Right.
suppose just more generally, I've been using the oils for a few years and I'm really fascinated to hear about the seasonal element because I was in no way aware of that. And it's also the first time I've used them on my face. So that was really nice.
Yeah, yeah, relax on the face. I really recommend. I use relax on my face every morning and every night. It's basically my only skincare. You could put moisturizer on after, but oil. The skin loves oil because the skin produces oil itself, so it knows that it speaks its language. So nothing else really. I mean, you can use your rose hips, and there are other good oils, but I would always recommend essential oils because they're so powerful. And Relax is so full of frankincense, which is such a powerful cellular regenerator. So powerful that it was used for mummification because it was like they wrapped bodies in it to preserve them, and it preserved bodies for thousands of years. So we do not need thousands of years out of this. So it's brilliant. It's unmatched for cellular regeneration. So yeah, I do recommend put it on and then moisturizer on after it.
Great.
The only,
Thank you.
the only, you're so welcome. The only one I don't use on my face is detox. I mean, if I can't find anything else, I'll put it on because I always have to have one of them on my face. But detox, I don't tend to because it's a little more. It's not drying, but coconut. Everybody thinks coconut's very nourishing, and it is nourishing in a way, but it's also quite drying. That's one of its characteristics. And also, detox has bitter lemon, which is beautiful and very detoxifying, but also can attract the sun because the citrus is always attract solar energy. So I don't put detox on my face, but I do put relax is the main one because it also protects from the sun.
Okay,
Thank you
great.
so much for sharing, Teresa. And yeah, have a look at seasonal being. I'm really happy for it. And do please jump on the website because I launched it literally half an hour ago or an hour ago. It isn't even ready, but I said have to do it because I wanted to do it for tonight to tell you that I had done it. So it's live. So I hope it's okay and buttons work and that kind of please tell me if they don't. But I'm really excited about seasonal being because it's a real it's a real coming home and yeah it's just about being guided and it's the support that I think you'll really feel throughout the whole year, so
I suppose
let
just as well to like, I absolutely love the idea of something that's Irish or Celtic because I suppose I would have dipped into anything from Ayurveda to Reiki, which is fantastic. But I'm a big believer in, where you're at, even in terms of herbs and vegetables and things like that. So, the idea of following, I suppose, our own traditional um, practices
yeah
from this part of the world is something that's really lovely.
yeah it is, and it is beautiful also when it's really the same, it's the same because it's it's,
Absolutely. When you
it's
were
nature.
talking about the shamanic and, being in June, I mean, you could be talking about any number of other practices, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, yeah, the Celtic practices they are so beautiful. They really are so, yeah, and it is lovely, lovely students. So I did, yeah, I did wonder about it because yogandha, for me, obviously, it kind of came from India, and the word is Indian yoga and ganda. But when I went to put it into the seasonality, or when it kind of was like clearly in on the seasonality, it just felt right to put it in the Celtic wheel because that's where it is now, and and all the plants, a lot of the plants mirror each other. The same kinds of plants are used, so it just fits beautifully. Thank you, thanks so much, Teresa, for that.
And thank
So
you.
let us just do a quick closing ceremony. So if you have two candles. So remembering again, and to do this, it's quite a nice one you can do actually even in the hall or whatever, to have a candle on either side, just bringing back that consciousness of that was what was always done at Bealtaine, two fires, and everybody had to go through them, and it was about protecting the cattle, just being safe for the coming years. So even tonight, if you want to put two candles on either side of the hall for people who come in or go out or whatever, that they'll be not aware of it walking through, because of course their bodies will be aware of it and pick up on it. Well, let's just feel in again to where your consciousness is. So just be aware where your consciousness is. And usually when we're talking, it comes up the body. So just be open to inviting it to coming back down the body. And checking in again with the fire, feeling where it is. And if it has been a bit elusive, again, using your imaginal reality and feel kind of you're stoking the fire a bit and feeling the fire in where it feels safe for you, which is often the pelvic bowl. The pelvic bowl is like a chalice. So to feel the fire in there it can feel like a fire pit, a nice safe fire pit. And then let's bring our consciousness to and if you have two candles, bring it to the candle on one side. And just feel yourself connecting with all that has been up to this point, up to this Bealtaine evening. Giving thanks for, giving blessings to those who come to mind, asking for protection for those who come to mind, and asking for protection for yourself. And feel a little bit like the fire that is without the candle on the left is really connecting with and giving its energy to the fire within, if that feels safe. And then let what is within, anything that's holding, particularly the pelvic bowl tends to hold a lot. So feel anything that's in the pelvic bowl that is holding, that you're ready to release. Often, as women, we're held in the pelvic bowl shame, hurt, grief, both of our own lifetime and multiple lifetimes before. So just be open to not even knowing what you're releasing, but feeling anything that is open to be releasing, to be released, to offered up to the fire on the left. If you have two, if you have one, you can just use that. And then we will gently blow out the candle on the left, feeling that letting go. And again, trusting. And then if you do have a candle on the right, again, feel the inner fire connecting with the outer fire and feel that this is the going forward season ahead. Bealtaine into Luna, so the whole beautiful cycle that is ahead. And feel yourself being held in the season, held by the season, trusting in the season, and resting. Trust in rest. Feeling how the next season, Luna, so the abundance, requires rest. Feel the season ahead and your intentions around rest, even if you have a vision around you resting, really taking it easy, kicking back. All the permission for rest has been given. You have it all. And with that vision and that certainty and that clarity, and again, feeling that in the fire within. And then with that done, then you can blow out the candle on the right. Um, Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Please have a look at the website. Please tell me if it works or if it doesn't work. If you can even see it. When I logged on there and I opened it, when I clicked on it, it was my old website. They're probably cookies, right? So many cookies. Hopefully you can see my beautiful new website and hopefully it works. Please tell me either way, actually, if you like it or if you don't like it, please send me an email and do check out Deep Rest and do check out Seasonal Being. And so Seasonal Being, the price for the whole thing is there's my dog, is 222. So it's a special that it is 197. So that's the special. So that's so just for you to know that. So have a look. You'll see it for 222 now. I'll go and change it now to 197 just so you can get it at that better price just for now. Namaste. Have a beautiful Bealtaine evening. Namaste.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.